Mass at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati on Monday evening in memory of Paul Brown. Bases loaded in the top of the third with the score 1-0. Mike Scioscia rips a base hit to right field. Brett Butler and Juan Samuel in. Hal Morris cuts off Paul O'Neill's throw home and gets Darryl Strawberry at third base to end the inning, 3-0 LA. Norm Charlton would see the Reds explode in the bottom half of the third inning, and Glenn Braggs would get things started as he'll hit a solo homer to left field off of Ramon Martinez. It's the first hit by the Reds in the game against Martinez. Home run number 9 for Braggs, 3-1 LA. And then things would get a little messy for Martinez in the third as the Reds would pour it on. Hal Morris with a double to right field with the score 3-2. Barry Larkin will come in to score RBI 42 for Morris, and we're tied at 3. And then Chris Sabo with a ground ball. It goes off of Lenny Harris's glove and by Alfredo Griffin into left field. Billy Hatcher in, 4-3 Cincinnati. Paul O'Neill will then get the 6th straight Cincinnati hit of the inning off of Martinez as he gets a double to right field that Darryl Strawberry just can't get to. Hal Morris and Chris Sabo in to score RBI 57 and 58 for O'Neill. And the Reds lead 6-3. Moving now to the bottom of the 5th inning with the score 6-4 Cincinnati. Chris Sabo will unload off of Martinez a solo homer to left field. For Sabo, it's his 17th home run of the year, RBI number 54, and it gave the Reds a 7-4 lead. Move now to the top half of the 6th inning. Alfredo Griffin off of first base with 2 outs. When Brett Butler hits a ground ball to Barry Larkin at short, he shovels it to Bill Doran for the out, but Griffin will fall head first right into Larkin's knee. He laid on the ground for a few minutes before being taken out of the ball game. We'll take another look at this play. Griffin doesn't slide but comes in standing up. He comes off balance off the bag and face first onto Larkin's knee. Bottom of the 6th inning, Glenn Braggs hits his 2nd home run of the game. A 2-run shot as he picks up Bill Doran. That made the score 9-4, and they go on to win 10-6 over LA, who has now lost 4 straight games. Rio the winner, Martinez the loser. And Darling making his American League debut, pitching for his 3rd team in less than a month as the Oakland A's played host to the Seattle Mariners top of the 2nd inning. Darling gets some defensive help from Ricky Henderson with a nice backhanded grab on that Alvin Davis gapper to left center field. Nice play by Henderson. 2 outs now, bottom of the 3rd inning. Ricky Henderson on the base paths, and he does what he does best, steal bases. Here he steals second base. No throw from Dave Valley. And then Henderson will steal third base as he beats Valley's throw down to third. And he's on third base with 2 outs in the 3rd. And then Dave Henderson will drive him in with a base hit to left field. Ricky Henderson trots in from third base. RBI 67 for Dave Henderson. And it's 1-0 Oakland. Bottom of the 4th inning, Mike Bordick will get a base hit to left field. Brooks Jacoby will try to score from second base, but Greg Briley gets it one hop to Dave Valley, and they nail Jacoby easily at the plate to end the 4th inning. Top of the 5th inning, Ron Darling cruising right along. He'll strike out Alvin Davis, making Davis look bad as he gets a weak cut at this Darling pitch. Darling went 7 innings, allowing only 2 hits and striking out 6 Seattle Mariners. Bottom of the 5th inning, Jay Buhner will make a diving grab in right field in the corner on Ricky Henderson's bid for extra bases. A great catch out there by Jay Buhner, and we'll take another look at the nice effort in right field by Buhner, robbing Ricky Henderson of possible extra bases. Bottom of the 8th inning, Jacoby with a base hit to right center field. Willie Wilson in, 2-0 Oakland. They scored another run to make it 3-0. And in the top of the 9th inning, Dennis Eckersley will get Ken Griffey Jr. to ground out to end the ball game. The A's win 3-0. Ron Darling, his first win in the American League, his 100th career victory. Dennis Eckersley is 29th save. Bill Kruger is now 9-4.
Action from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore as Tom Troublehorn and the Milwaukee Brewers are in town to take on the Orioles. First batter of the game, Paul Molitor with the liner to Leo Gomez for the first out of the game. In the top of the 2nd inning, Milwaukee will strike first when Dale Swaim comes up, and he hits a single over Cal Ripken's head. B.J. Surhoff scores, and the Brewers take a 1-0 lead. And still in the 2nd inning, Darrell Hamilton comes up and doubles to left field. This one going into the corner. as Jim Gantner and Paul Molitor both score. RBIs number 23 and 24 for Hamilton, and the Brewers are on top by a score of 3-0. Then the bottom of the second inning, Hamilton will come up with a fine play in the field as he makes this nice sliding catch on the fly ball hit by Randy Milligan for the first out of the bottom of the second inning. Then the top of the third inning, Franklin Stubbs extends the Brewer lead to 4-0 when he hits a solo home run to right field. For Stubbs, it's home run number 10. And once again, Milwaukee's lead is at 4-0. Then still in the top of the third inning, Dale Swaim will come up and he will double the left field. This will bring home Greg Vaughn, and the Brewers' lead is extended to 5-0. Baltimore will start to chip away, though, at this lead as they start out in the bottom of the fourth inning when Chris Hoyles comes up and hits a double into left field. Randy Milligan and Cheeto Martinez both score, and the Brewers' lead is trimmed to 5-2. Then still in the fourth, Juan Bell comes up, and he will hit a triple into the gap in right center field. This will bring home Chris Hoyles, and the Brewer lead is cut to 5-3. Then in the top of the fifth inning, Brady Anderson will come up. He was the leadoff batter in this inning, and he will smack a two-run home run, this one going out to right field, and Milwaukee's lead is trimmed to 5-4. The Orioles come all the way back in the bottom of the eighth inning when they will tie this ball game up at 5 apiece. Joe Orsulak at third base, and Juan Bell lifts a sacrifice fly to right field, and the game is tied up at 5 apiece. When the top of the ninth inning, Robin Yount will come up and hit a double on a hit-and-run play. Darrell Hamilton scores, and the Brewers take a 6-5 lead. They win it by that score. Doug Henry with the win, his record 2-0. Mark Williamson with the loss, his record 3-5. Edwin Nunez picks up his fourth save of the season.
Cubs look to sweep the four-game series against the New York Mets on Monday night at Shea Stadium. And at the top of the first, Chicago already leading 1-0, and Luis Salazar would drive in 2 more runs with this single. This would score Mark Grace and Ryan Sandberg, and Chicago with a 3-0 lead. In the bottom of the first, New York would get one of those runs back. Howard Johnson with this RBI single, and this would score Darrell Boston and make it 3-1 in favor of the Cubs. But it would be a long night for the New York Mets, as this fan would see Andre Dawson in the top of the fifth come through for Chicago with a solo home run, his 19th of the year, and Dawson's 365th career home run. This comes off Mets starter Pete Shorrock and gives Dawson 71 RBI. The Cubs a 4-1 lead. In the top of the sixth, Cub pitcher Frank Castillo with a bunt, and this would be fielded by Rick Cerrone, who throws out Castillo, but on the sacrifice, Sean Dunston scores to make it 5-1, and the Cubs would go on to an easy win, 7-2 over Bud Harrelson's Mets, who lose their 6th straight game. Castillo would go the distance as he strikes out 5 Mets while scattering 9 hits. He Ks Kevin Elster to end this one to improve his record to 4-2, while Pete Shorrock, the loser, falls to 2-2. The Cubs complete their first 4-game sweep since 1985 and improve to 500 for the first time since June the 17th. Meanwhile, the Mets have lost 11 of their last 13 games. Yankees have been birds of prey for the Tigers this weekend as Detroit looks to sweep the 4-game series against the Bronx Bombers on Monday night. But in the top of the first, Don Mattingly has other ideas as he hits this solo home run, his 7th of the year, and his first since June the 21st. It comes off Tigers starter Walt Terrell, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. In the bottom of the second, though, Yankee ace Scott Sanderson would surrender this solo blast to Dave Bergman, who hits his 3rd home run of the year off the facing in right field. And the Tigers tie up this game at 1 apiece with the Yankees in the bottom half of the second. In the top of the third, as the Gull makes its way to first base, we'd see Mel Hall come through for the Yankees. He delivers this single to center field that would score Bernie Williams, and New York takes a 2-1 lead. Then in the top of the fifth, it would be Hall again. This time, he would double down the right field line, and this would score both Pat Kelly and then Williams, and the Yankees take a 4-1 lead. Yankee pitcher Scott Sanderson would strike out 12 Tigers in just 6 innings of work as he gets Scott Livingstone here to end the bottom of the fifth, an inning in which he would strike out the side. But Sanderson with mixed reviews, for in the bottom of the sixth, Lou Whitaker would take Sanderson deep for his 15th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and this would cut the Yankees' lead to 5-3. The very next batter to face Sanderson would also take him deep, as Stump Merrill, the Yankee manager, would see Tony Phillips, the hero of Sunday's game. Phillips hitting a 2-out home run to tie it in the bottom of the ninth in a game in which the Tigers went on to defeat the Yankees. This time he goes deep for his 12th home run of the year. So Sanderson strikes out 12 but surrenders 3 home runs. That would make it 5-4. But in the top of the 7th, it would be Mel Hall once again. This time a 2-run home run, his 15th of the year. Hall would go 4 for 4 with 5 RBI, and the Yankees take a 7-4 lead. In the bottom of the 8th, Cecil Fielder, the Major League's leading home run hitter, would add another one to his total as he hits the solo blast off Eric Plunk, Fielder's 32nd home run. He also leads the majors with 91 RBI. You'll recall Fielder had 51 home runs last year, and this one would make it 7-5 in the 8th. Bottom of the 9th, Lee Guterman in for the Yankees. The Tigers have the tying runs on 2nd and 3rd. However, Guterman would get Tony Phillips to ground out to end this one as he notches his 6th save. The Yankees win 7-5. Scott Sanderson, the winner, is 11-7. Walt Terrell, the loser, is 7-10. As Sanderson is now 5-0 lifetime against the Tigers to snap Detroit's 5-game winning streak.
Action from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium as the red-hot Atlanta Braves play host to the San Francisco Giants. Here in the top of the 2nd inning, Robbie Thompson will go down on strikes as John Smoltz ends the top half of the 2nd inning. Then the bottom of the 3rd inning, Atlanta will start out first when Otis Nixon comes up and hits a double into left center field. RBI number 17 for Nixon as Greg Olson scores, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead. Then Jeff Treadway will come up and he will hit a single into right field. Otis Nixon scores easily, RBI number 24 for Treadway, and the Braves take a 2-0 lead. Then Terry Pendleton will come up, and he will also hit a single, this one going into center field. Treadway scores, RBI number 55 for Pendleton, and the Braves go on top by a score of 3-0. The big blast in the inning came when Tommy Gregg stepped up to the plate, and Gregg smacks a 2-run home run to right field. Home run number 1 for Gregg, RBIs number 2 and 3, as Terry Pendleton also scores. The Braves take a 5-0 lead, and that would be all for Don Robinson in this ball game. The Giants get one back in the top of the 4th inning when Willie McGee will hit a double to left field. That'll bring home Darren Lewis, RBI number 22 for McGee, and the Braves' lead is cut to 5-1. The Braves, though, would carry a 5-2 lead into the top of the 9th inning, where John Smoltz would strike out Robbie Thompson to end the ball game, as Smoltz goes the distance for only the 2nd time this season, both against the San Francisco Giants, and the Braves win this one 5-2. Smoltz with the win, his record 7-12. Robinson with the loss, his record now 5-8. Coupled with the Los Angeles Dodgers loss tonight, the Braves are now 2.5 games back of first place Los Angeles.
A $50 million check issued by the Texas Commerce Bank to finance the Texas Rangers' new stadium. Presented on Monday night, the Rangers hosting the Cleveland Indians. In the top of the 2nd, Mark Whitten gets the Indians off to the early lead as he hits the solo home run, his 7th of the year. This comes off Texas starter Kevin Brown, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead. The score now 2-0, still in the top of the 2nd, and Glenn Allen Hill, who came over from Toronto with Whitten in the Tom Candiotti trade. Here Hill, the RBI single to score Joel Skinner. That makes it 3-0. In the bottom of the 2nd, the Indian starter Eric King would get some defensive support from Whitten in right field as he takes away extra bases from Ivan Rodriguez with this running catch as he slams into the wall. Then Whitten one more time in the top of the 3rd, a one-man wrecking crew in the early going. Here he takes Brown deep for his 2nd home run of the game and 8th of the year. This also a solo shot. So Whitten stakes the Indians to a 4-0 lead in the top of the 3rd. The Indians would proceed to bang out 19 hits against the Texas Rangers on this Monday night, as it would be a long game for Bobby Valentine and club. In the top of the 5th, Albert Bell would add to the assault with this RBI double. This would score Carlos Baerga to make it 5-0, and that would be more than enough for the Indians as they would coast to a 9-0 victory over the Rangers for just the 4th win in Cleveland's last 14 games. as the Indians get a solid outing from Eric King, who tosses a 2-hit shutout while striking out 7 Rangers, including Rodriguez here in the bottom of the 7th. King's first shutout of the season and second straight complete game since coming off the disabled list. The Indians win 9-0. King, the winner, is now 5-6, while Kevin Brown, the Texas loser, falls to 7-9.
Injury kept Wade Boggs out of the starting lineup Monday evening in Kansas City as the Red Sox were in town to play the Royals. Tied at 1 in the bottom of the 6th inning when George Brett will hit a gapper to right center field, and he'll leg this into a double. Extra base hit number 1,000 for George Brett. And the crowd at Royal Stadium gives him a standing ovation. And Brett acknowledges the crowd, doffing his cap. He would later score on an error to make the score 2-1 Royals. Then still in the 6th inning, Rich Garcia and Joe Morgan get in a bit of a brouhaha. Garcia going after and going at it with Morgan. Garcia acting more like a manager there than Morgan, as he's the aggressor in the argument. Morgan loses the argument and heads back to the dugout, top of the 8th inning. Mike Greenwell at the plate for Boston, and he'll get a base hit off of Jeff Montgomery to left field. Jody Reed will come around to score from second base. RBI 53 for Greenwell, and we're tied at 2. Still in the 8th, Wade Boggs comes in to pinch hit for Carlos Quintana, and he'll get a base hit that would score Tom Bernansky from second base. Boggs is now hitting 6 straight games, and the Red Sox lead 3-2. Tied at 3 now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Second and third, 1 out. Kevin Seitzer on third base for the Royals. Luis Rivera with a nice stop at shortstop on Gary Thurman's ground ball. Seitzer scores. Bill Pecota caught in a rundown between second and third. Mike Brumley runs him back to second base, but nobody covers. Pecota is safe, and Joe Morgan is disgusted. Still in the 8th, Dave Howard with a base hit to left field for Kansas City. Pecota came in to score. Mike Greenwell gets it into Luis Rivera. Rivera's throw home to John Marzano will nail Gary Thurman at the plate, but the Royals took a 5-3 lead heading into the 9th. And in the top of the 9th inning, with a man on first base, Jeff Montgomery strikes out Steve Lyons to end the ball game. The Royals win 5-3. Montgomery the winner. He's 2-4. Tony Fawcett's the loser. He drops to 1-2.
State as the Houston Astros play host to Greg Harris and the San Diego Padres. Here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, Greg Harris on the mound, and he will strike out Mike Sims, and this will end the bottom of the 2nd inning. Pete Harnish will not be outdone here in the top of the 3rd inning. Pete Harnish will strike out Bip Roberts. This was strikeout number 5 for Harnish, and this ends the top of the 3rd inning. The 1 run scored so far came in the bottom of the 4th inning when Benito Santiago will make a wild throw down to first base. Jeff Bagwell will score easily, and the Astros go on top by a score of 1-0. Pete Harnish pitched a fine ball game tonight for the Houston Astros. Here in the top of the 6th inning, he will get Benito Santiago to go down on strikes. For strikeout number 9, this ends the top of the 6th inning as Harnish finished with a career-high 12 strikeouts. The Houston Astros were well on their way to winning this ball game until 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning when Thomas Howard hits a single into left field, delivering home Tony Gwynn with the game-tying run. The game would be decided in the bottom of the 12th inning when Craig Biggio will come up, and Biggio against Larry Anderson will come up and hit a double to the gap in left center field. Rafael Ramirez comes home with the game-winning run as the Astros win this one by a score of 2-1 in 12 innings. Henry with the win, his record 3-0. Larry Anderson takes the loss, his record drops to 3-3. The red-hot Houston Astros have now won 8 straight ball games as once again Craig Biggio with the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 12th inning gives the Astros a 2-1 victory over the San Diego Padres.
Raider and the California Angels hosting the first-place Minnesota Twins in an American League West battle on Monday night. And on the top of the first, Kent Herbeck with the foul ball, which actually catches a young girl in the shoulder. However, she'd be okay. But Joe Gray, the California Angel pitcher, perhaps not as fortunate in the top of the first. for Herbeck still at the plate would single home Dan Gladden and give Minnesota a 1-0 lead. Then it would be Brian Harper's turn as Harper facing Gray, and he would deliver this ground rule double. It bounces into the right field corner. It would score Chuck Knobloch and then Herbeck off camera to give the Twins a 3-0 lead. Still nobody out, top of the first inning, and this time it's Randy Bush, and he would double down the left field line. This would score Chili Davis and then Harper, and Minnesota takes a 5-0 lead before Joe Gray can retire anybody in the top half of the first. In the bottom of the second now, former Twin Gary Gaetti at the plate. The score 5-1 Minnesota, and Gaetti takes this Kevin Tapani pitch for his 13th home run. A nice leaping try by Shane Mack, but not quite enough. And Gaetti's solo home run makes it 5-2. Then in the bottom of the third, a bunt attempt by Luis Polonia and a great barehanded play by Mike Pagliarulo. And we'll take one more look at the barehanded effort by Twins third baseman Mike Pagliarulo on the bunt effort by Luis Polonia. Kevin Tapani on the mound for the Twins would go 8 2/3 innings in this game. Here he strikes out Lance Parrish in the bottom of the fourth, and the Twins would look indeed like world champs on this Monday night. Although in the bottom of the sixth, Tapani would be victimized by Dave Winfield, who hits this solo home run, his 21st of the year, and his 399th career home run. That ties Al Kaline for 23rd place on the all-time list. The solo blast would make it 5-3. But in the top of the seventh, the score now 6-3 Twins. Chili Davis extends his hitting streak to 14 games with this double. It scores Gladden to make it 7-3. The Angels score one in the ninth to make it 7-4, but Rick Aguilera then gets Dave Gallagher to line out to end this one, and the Twins win it 7-4. Tapani the winner 9-7. Gray the loser is 1-2.